What's up, my peoples? Welcome back to the Elevated Audio Podcast. I'm your host, Raj Elevate. This is my co-host.
Chris Audio, back at it.
We back at it. This is our fifth installment. I hope you guys enjoyed our last one with the homie Treble. It was a pleasure. So what we get into today, Chris?
I think we're probably going to be a little bit shorter than the episode last time because we definitely had some good conversation last time. But man, I looked at that clock afterward and I was like, oh man, we were recording for a while.
Yeah. So this will kind of make up for the long.
Right. Yeah.
Long, so we had last time. We're going to give you guys a little quick.
Exactly. We'll get into some. I think we're each going to provide a hot take that each one of us have that's hip hop related. Might be unpopular take to unpopular people. Maybe it's an opinion that's maybe a little bit against the grain. The opinion where everyone else wants to zig, I'm gonna zag.
Oh yeah, we're all about zagging over here, man.
Exactly.
Born zag. I'm gonna get a shirt.
Born that way. I can't help it,
So I guess I'll start. My unpopular opinion, which a lot of people, I'm sure, would disagree with, is that Pac is the greatest of all time. I would say that Pac was a great artist. His music still lives on till this day. He was a great activist, voice for the hood and everything. But saying that he was the best hip hop artist of all time, if you're basing that on songs, on lyrics, on everything, just what encompasses an MC, flow, his different dynamics in songs, I would say that he's not the greatest of all time. A great artist, great human, great person, yes, but not the greatest of all time as far as hip hop artists.
I would tend to agree with that. I don't think anyone can deny Pac's influence, right? And I don't think anyone can deny the music itself, right? I don't think there's really any disputing that his music connected well with people, and you've got to give respect to how much quality content the dude had. But there's not really okay, if we make it just a comparison, the comparison that was going on back then, Biggie and Pac, that tends to be the big debate between the two. Mm-hmm. I'm not even having that conversation right now necessarily, but just as an MC in terms of actual rapping ability, it's not even close. Biggie was a better rapper.
Yeah, if you're talking lyricism, oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, Pac was talking about, the content was there, and the stuff he was talking about was okay, that's a different story. But in terms of just flow and wordplay and stuff like that, no.
Yeah, it was pretty basic. He was
very basic. Yep.
But baby, they're saying it was baseline, from a technical aspect was baseline, but going back to what you said, influentially, the guy is the man. You know what I'm saying? He'll always be remembered as a voice for the streets. But rapper-wise, no, he can't have that top spot.
So if we're just talking about as an MC, right? Mastering, we're talking about mastering the mic, right? How many artists would you put above Pac? Because if we're talking about mastering the mic, if we take away influence, right? We take that out of the equation for a second. Obviously, in the big picture, you have to take that into account in the big picture when you talk about the GOAT, right? The conversation we had last time, people throw that around. But if we just talk about rapping ability and mastering the mic, where do you put Pac?
How many artists? I can't really say how many. But I would tell you that it's under 10 and over 6. One person I would definitely put above him is Rakim.
Of course.
definitely put Rakim above him. As far as technicality and skill level and wordplay, flow, dynamics, cadence, delivery, bars overall, I would definitely put Rakim over him.
For sure. But I was thinking like, I think if we really like talk this out, and we don't have to do this right now, but this could be a whole episode by itself. But if we really start going down the list of artists who have, I'm sorry, let me rephrase, the list of MCs, right? And we talk about people that we consider to be just like, that guy's a monster on the mic. Like, he's just a beast. Like, maybe not the albums aren't as good or whatever, however you want to do that. But like, just as an MC, I feel like Pac might be even lower on that list, you know? Because if you start talking about artists like, you know, I'm talking about like lyrically and everything, like how creative lyrically. If you talk about artists like, you know, like Black Dot, right? You already said Rakim. You know, if we start talking about, you start adding Jay, you start adding Biggie, you start adding like Lupe Fiasco.
Even cats like Mos Def.
Most Def, you know, right. And that's 6 right there, you know? So to what you were saying, like more than 6, at least 6, you know, maybe not as many as 10. I mean, if we really talked it out, we might be able to come up with more than that, you know? And that's not a disrespect or anything like that, you know? I mean,
nah, bro, nah, son, I can't accept that.
Nah, fuck that.
No, but you're right though. You're right. I was using that like as
I know you're just doing a ballpark estimate.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Because that was 6 right there, and I can come up with at least 5 more. Pharoah Monch.
Yeah. Great example. And the thing is, like, obviously, there's a lot of artists out there. There's a lot of rappers out there that you're like, that guy is like a great lyricist. Oh, we didn't even talk about Eminem, by the way. There's a lot of rappers out there that we can be like, I don't care for the dude's music or anything, but the dude's like a very good rapper. Like there's artists like Cassidy, someone like that, or even like Papoose. These guys are beasts, you know?
Cassidy's a beast, man. I'm sorry. Like I grew up listening to
But I'm talking about like the freestyles and shit. His music, I don't like his music at all. But like in terms of like his freestyling, man.
Yeah.
Talented dude, man.
I would give his freestyles. But yeah,
that's
music and
yeah.
At least now, like when I was younger, I'd be like, yo, he's a beast. But like now I'm like,
your bar too high now to appreciate it.
I'm too nice now, dog. I'm too nice.
But yeah, I was using him as an example. But like I don't care for Cassidy's music. I've never cared for it. But some of the freestyles and stuff, I'm just like, okay, that was nice. You know, that was pretty nice. I can't front.
Yeah, but, I've heard a couple of freestyles. Yeah,
but you know, the point is, there's a lot of artists like that. You know, that from that standpoint, or a lot of battle rappers, right? Who are just they're really good MCs, but it doesn't translate necessarily to like the music. You know, being a great artist per se. You know, so. But I think what's that?
What was yours? Your unpopular opinion.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna catch my breath. Okay, hold on.
Are you gonna offend a lot of people?
I might.
Good.
I might. I you know what? And I will say this. I like to re-listen to projects over and over again. Like even stuff from like 20 years ago. And I like reevaluate my opinions on stuff.
You're a student of the game.
I'm a game, and I'm a dork, you know? But this is gonna offend even like Chris from like 6 months ago, you know? 6 months ago I'd been like, man, what are you talking about? But Illmatic is not Nas's best album.
I agree with you. Right, I disagree with you right there. But what do you think his best album is?
It Was Written.
No,
and that's okay to disagree.
Hanging up. I'm closing this. Right.
Ending the call. No more podcast. I think regardless of what someone if someone disagrees with that, that's fine. I think at the end of the day, we're splitting hairs though, and here's why. When I've gone back in within the last 6 months, and I hadn't listened to It Was Written for a while, but I listened to Illmatic all the time. But when I went back and listened, It Was Written, I listened to it probably 3 times in the last couple months, top to bottom, and it's, in my opinion, every bit as good as Illmatic.
You know why it's not as good? Because it doesn't have Life's a B with AZ on it. That's why it can never be as good.
I can't argue with that because that AZ's verse is there. It's probably my favorite verse of all time.
Bro, I think he outshined Nas on his own joint, bro. That's a big debate. I've been seeing.
Of course, I've seen that.
And I would agree, man. Like AZ went off on that, bro. He went off.
That verse is ridiculous. There's no denying that. Like,
not that Nas didn't come hard. Like Nas came hard, and like he has a lot of quotables on that song. But bro, like AZ,
that was a whole other thing. Like that
smash.
Like that verse is in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. You know.
Facts.
That's the one. You know. That's for me. That's like, if it's not my favorite verse of all time, it's like in my top. Like, it's definitely my top 5. You know.
You put it that high up.
Yeah, I love, maybe I'm giving it extra credit because of how like iconic it was and all that, but I think it is that good. Even now, it's there.
If you put it up there, man.
I really do. I think of it that highly, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of It Was Written, I think it is as good as Illmatic, and the reason why I give it maybe just like that tiny little just a hair above Illmatic is because I think it's hard to follow up a great album with one that's just as good. And even someone like me, who, like I said, I'm a dork with all this stuff, but for me to be even sitting here having the thought of like, is this better? Is it? Like it's not like clearly worse. It's not clearly worse. I'm not gonna say it's clearly better or anything like that, but like it's like that to do that with a follow-up album is tough because the old expression is you have your whole life to make your first album. I think I said the same quote in the other episode, but I'm gonna repeat it again because you have your whole life to make your first album, and there's a reason why so many artists have great first albums and then they kind of fall off. They don't fall off, but like no other album touches that first album.
Because you're competing against yourself at that point. Like you're trying to outdo what you just did.
Exactly. And if you're a really, really, really good artist, then in all likelihood, your first piece of art that you put out there is probably on some ridiculous, insurmountable level, you know? And a lot of artists never top that, you know, and I think that Nas at least matched it. And I think that's hard enough to do in and of itself. And that's why I maybe give it like a little tiny, like just a tiny bit extra credit. And I bump it up just a tiny bit.
I can't agree with you, man. Because Illmatic is just one of those transcendental albums that just nothing. I wouldn't say it's greatest album of all time, but as far as Nas's work, I really don't see anything, including It Was Written, touching that. You know, I give It Was Written its props. I think it had a lot of depth, especially like you were saying as a follow up, and it's close to that level, but Illmatic is just. It's in a category of its own.
I mean, that's fair. Like I said, I think regardless of how people feel about that particular opinion, I think we're splitting hairs at the end of the day. It's like the whole like.
Let's talk about hairs, man. You know,
you don't have hairs to split. I'm sorry. I apologize. I have too many, unfortunately. It's kind of. I'm. With COVID and everything, you know, I don't make it to the barbershop as often as I would like, you know.
Have your wifey do it. I said have your wifey do it.
I know, right? I should. I don't trust people in my hair unless it's a trained professional. Who am I kidding?
I love her. I love
I mean, I would ask, but like, I'm just gonna be like mad about it afterward, honestly.
her. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
who wants that argument? You know?
Yeah, when I was younger and I had hair, I let my cousin
Yeah.
cut my hair, dude, and like he on purpose to make a joke out of me. This guy completely destroyed my head, and like we went to the store afterwards, and I had to like I didn't have a hat or nothing.
Yeah.
Like went to the store and he's like telling people like, "Yo, I gave my cousin a fade. What do you think?" And I like became this laughing stock. This is walking laughing stock. But anyway, that's way off subject.
I mean, whatever. Who cares? I mean, this is where the conversation goes. But I was just gonna say, like, through all like COVID and everything, I've thought about like maybe I should just order like some clippers and start cutting my own hair. You know?
You froze up.
Can you hear me at least?
Now I can. Now you're back. I can see and hear you. But like for a split second, I don't know what you were saying. Like you just.
Oh no, I was just saying that during COVID, for a little bit I was like maybe I should just like order some clippers and start cutting my own hair. You know, I'm just like, first of all, I'm gonna mess it up. First of all, second of all, I'm not going anywhere. Like I just go to work and I come home. So what's the point anyway?
And you're not required to keep a fresh cut at work.
Nah. I work in a hospital. I wear like a surgical cap.
Oh, you're good then, man.
Like I really have no reason, and I'm wearing a mask too. So the only thing here is like the side of my beard coming out over here, you know, which probably has COVID on it. Like every day I get home and I'm like scrubbing, I'm like shampooing my beard, you know,
getting deep down in there. Are barbershops still shut down? I know it's like
I think they're open. I think they're back. I think they've still been open. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just being extra careful with the baby on the way and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I have a barber that could come here and cut my hair here at the house, but I haven't really, you know, he came over not that long ago, but
you weren't too happy with his work?
No, it was straight. It was straight, but you know, just I don't know. Coordinating schedules and stuff can be difficult sometimes too, especially since that's like the bulk of his business now is house calls. So it can, you know, if he's on the other side of town, he's like, oh, I can't be there till 6, and it's like, oh, I got to go to work. You know, you know, schedules don't necessarily always match up. You know,
dude, I'm so confused with what's going on right now. Like some places are open, some places like were open and now they're not again. Some places never reopen. I'm like, yo, what is really? I'm
really confused. I thought restaurants were all closed. And then like yesterday, so like right here by my house, there's like a little, like it's not downtown Miami or anything like that, but it's like downtown of our little like area, right? And they have like a few restaurants and stuff. And I thought that was all like shut down, you know? But yesterday I'm driving by there and like they had like one little strip of road that's maybe like a block was totally shut down. Like, I'm not shut down.
Really?
Like, it was blocked off. Like, cars couldn't pass through it. I'm like, the hell's going on here? So what they did was, there's like a few restaurants there in that block. So what they did was, they just put all the tables outside in the street and stuff. So they just set it up so that the restaurants could still function.
Okay. You know? And
so
like in an open space.
Exactly. To make it like comply with, you know, the social distancing and all that. So.
Got you.
That's how they kind of got around. I don't know how they got like the local town to like agree to that, but hey, man, good for them. But sorry, man.
They're crushing. The economy is crushed, man.
Oh, man.
Crushed.
So do you consider like, so in terms of like Illmatic, you think Nas can top that or no?
Not now.
Not at this point.
Yeah, not at this point. I feel like every artist has a certain time frame, and I'm not saying his time's up by any means.
No,
like,
I know.
He could probably keep putting out music. Look at Eminem; he's still going. Like Nas could keep going, but as far as like that body of work at that time, like no, I don't think he could top that, man.
I would agree with that. I mean, I said it was written better, but I think that time frame, I think the window is kind of closed where he could actually top that work.
And especially, and you know what too, like him being that close to the streets as he was,
Mm-hmm.
and the and that album representing that, or that time frame, representing that, is something different than him dropping stuff now, like being at the level he's at.
Yeah.
Because honestly, he's not in the streets no more. He hasn't been in the streets for a long time.
He's removed from that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's all these artists, man. Like, they rap about the hood stuff, but clearly, obviously, that's like way past, then. So, like, drawing and forming the connection of your lifestyle at that time and the music and the art you're putting out, and seeing the cohesiveness and the connection is just like something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when that's like influencing the music. That's if that's what he's drawing from, right?
Yeah, life imitates art.
Exactly, and it's different when you're removed from that for that long. You're talking about what, like 25 years now.
Yeah.
So
the thing about Eminem, he's never really been on some like real hood stuff, so like he can just talk about anything. Yeah. It's like, yo, this
yeah, he's kind of been out there,
Hey, yo, bananas with hammers and stamina.
Yeah.
Saying some like,
let me just rhyme the craziest shit.
Yeah. Yo, he's off the hook, man. Wow, dude.
Any other strong opinions you have that Oh, well, you know what? I have a question for you. You made me think of this because you're talking about Pac, and you're saying that he's not the GOAT, and that's fine. I totally agree with you. Where do you put Biggie in that conversation?
That's a great question, actually. I put him around the same place. I put him a little higher than Pac. If Pac's here, I put Biggie here just because of the lyricism. And like we were just saying earlier, the technicalities of his raps. Mm-hmm. But I would put Rakim above.
Hold on, you got
for one step above. Biggie. Sorry, I put Rakim above Pac. I would put, I would put a plethora of people above Pac and Biggie. But I would put Biggie above Pac.
Okay, cool. But you wouldn't put Biggie first necessarily.
Nah.
There's definitely some people you put above that. So
yeah, and honestly, bro, I don't have a favorite rapper. I like, if you ask me who I think the greatest of all time is, I really wouldn't have an answer for you. Yeah. I think you can't talk about the greatest of all time without including Big Pun, and I would put Big Pun above Biggie and Pac.
As an MC.
Yeah.
I agree. As an MC. I agree with you. Yeah. What about Big L?
Sorry, before we talk about Big L, but as far as influence, I would put Pac above both of them. If we're talking influence.
Agree.
Yeah, but Big L, oh yeah, that's a real good one. Big L was a beast, man. Like, yo, technically, I would put Big L above Biggie and Pac, honestly. Put it above Big Pun. That's a stretch.
Pun was ridiculous. If you really go back and listen to his stuff now, that people don't talk about it. But if you go back and you listen to it, it's like you can't even believe what you're hearing.
Next level stuff.
It's like some alien shit.
Yeah, yo, there's a song with the Big Pun and Black Thought. It's such a dope song.
What's the song called? I have to go back and listen.
I forgot the name of it, dude. But like, when you get a chance, check it out because it's such a dope balance. You know what I'm saying? It's such a dope balance because Pun he's more street. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says some conscious things, but like, he's more street with it. And Black Thought is just technical and conscious and has the street too. So it was like a great chemistry. Great flow on that track.
Do you think that, let's just talk about those four, right? Pun, Big L, Biggie, and Pac, right? We just talk about those four artists. Do you think that maybe we give Pac, we prop him up more because, not just because of the influence, not just that, but also because the guy was a studio rat and there's just this like larger bulk of content that's come out from Tupac compared to Pun or L or Biggie. You know what I mean? They're all incomplete careers. We can agree on that. Like all of them died young, so we don't have complete pictures on their career. But Pac was able to record so much material that we have more to go off of. So combining that with his level of influence, we just people not we me and you, but like people just automatically say, "Yep, Pac better than the other three." You know? Do you think that's a fair theory? I guess
that Pac would be better based off of the body of work he's put
I'm saying that people just prop him up because of that,
and yet to put out, and because of his influence.
Or what I'm saying is that maybe we would talk about Biggie or Big L or Big Pun in the same way if there was enough content out there to match the amount of material that Pac had.
Yeah, I think that could influence people's perspective a lot, just because Pac still has tracks that we haven't heard. Exactly. But I think there's other. I'm sure like those other three have stuff we haven't heard either. Like I don't know. You know.
But I mean, no, I have no doubt. But wouldn't you agree? Like there's been so much. How many songs from Pac came out after he died? You know, like there was so much material that came out after the fact.
Unless he didn't die and he just like pretended he died and
there's that
making a lot of music.
Those crazy theories like he's in Cuba, you know, and just there. Like, I mean, who knows? I mean, based off what we know.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I mean, one thing you can never take away from Pac is that dude worked, man. Like, that boy got songs on songs on songs.
Yep.
He got hit singles with messages. Brenda's Got a Baby is one of my favorite hip hop tracks of all time. And
think about that. Think about the difference between like the 90s and today. That was a single.
Yeah.
Think about what that song's about. Like
single black women.
Like the baby in the trash can. What? Like you could never hear that on a single now.
You would never hear that on the radio.
I mean, it's so different now, you know? Like, that was a single and, like, a hit single.
Now it's whoever got the most money is getting those radio spins.
Crazy, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's wild.
But, it is, man.
Yeah, man. Any other opinions you want to throw out there? You want to...
No, man. I don't got nothing else, dude. We could wrap up now. This was a good little fill-in session, a little quick joint. So
to make up for the long episode before.
Yeah, right. Which was enjoyable, you know.
Yeah, it was good.
You enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Raj Elevate everything, all socials. Connect with me. Khris?
At Khris Audio on everything, KHRIS Audio. Connect with us. Let's talk.
Oh, yeah, and we got the Elevated Audio Podcast Facebook page and Instagram page, so stay with us on there. And, yeah, peace and love, everybody.